Hello, everybody. Welcome to my first actually scheduled stream. I'm looking forward to this. So, before anything, I searched Twitter, looked up Polynesian languages, and hi, Sutton. I looked up Polynesian languages because I'm always a fan of those languages, and I found the Rapa Nui languages of the Easter Islands. So, I wanted to touch on how they do reduplication and why I love reduplication so much. So if we're looking at this first one, I really like that. Hey, Majahadra, if that's how you pronounce it. I love reduplication, and the way that Rapa Nui does it is amazing. So, for color words that they don't have explicit basic color terms for, they use reduplication in those general with nouns of those general color. So like ehu, mist; ehu, dark gray; dea, white, which I think is very cool. I like that it's just like an all-encompassing sort of deal. Then for iterative nouns, or I believe I can't think of what the term is, but over and over and over, they do reduplication. So for weave, hatu to fold, kume, ruku. Proto-Austronesian has something like 50 plus reduplication patterns. I'm gonna have to look that up, because that's insane. I thought I was going a little crazy with Kea and it doing multiple things, and one reduplication pattern doing multiple things, but obviously that's that's cool. But I think my favorite aspect of Rapa Nui's reduplication is this bit. The fact that there are some reduplicated forms that do not have the original form. Obviously here, rohi, like rohi means tired, but there is no rohi. Nobody knows what that's like. Nobody knows what that means. So, yeah, I just think that's very interesting, and I wanted to share something. So, yeah, let's hop on into this. So, I wanted to start off our stream this week. Human agentive plus root. Tikamala ikat. Ooh, that's interesting, Sutton. I like that. So I wanted to dive into this conversation regarding the quality of some fish. Always fantastic. I had done a translation of this sort of idea with another one of my languages, but I feel like this sort of conversation lends very well to the tense system I have for Kea, and it's definitely an exercise for how I want to do Kea. So yeah, with this we're gonna have to do some work on other stuff outside of just like what the tenses look like and what a lot of the language looks like. But I also have to bring in some things because this is a discourse. This isn't like an actual conversation. There are things that are assumed. There are things that need to be introduced. But I think the big thing I need to work on for Kea is discourse markers. Stuff like fine. The next time I get fish from you, I need half for free. That fine there. Or sorry, my family and I already ate it. And discourse markers, I didn't quite understand them until recently, and the big thing about them is that they quote unquote don't mean anything, but they're more like, they're purely discourse related. They don't have anything to do with like the semantics or the the semantics of the words that are actually chosen. So how do I describe it? Because English does discourse phrasal discourse markers. Stuff like, you might be thinking blah 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 blah, which means I expect you to agree with what I'm saying. Or sorry, here, that doesn't mean that does not literally mean I apologize for this fact. It more means like I'm expecting you to be upset at this. Yeah, and ugh. Like, they just quote unquote don't mean anything. So I want to work on those once we get to them. But I think it's just time that we hop right into it. So it's a basic conversation. Hey, you gave me some bad fish. What do you mean? Some of the fish you gave me yesterday were rotten. What can I do to make it right? I want some of my grains back. Sorry, my family and I already ate it. In one day? I have a large family. Fine, the next time I get fish from you, I need half for free. Really? I could just not give you any grain. Fine, half of it will be free. Thank you. You're welcome. Simple conversation that has that with the way Kea tenses work, it has some like flip-flopping, which I very much like. Ooh, Ojibwe discourse markers. Nice. Very fun. Alright. So, looking at the first line. Hey, you gave me some bad fish. Another thing, I haven't really worked on like introductions or stuff like that. Like, I mean, so Majahadra, I don't know if you witnessed my other translation of this sort of idea, but let's just say there are grammatical ways to say, well, there are ways to say, for lack of a better term, SOB, that is just built into the language, built into the gender system. So yes, this is comparatively polite. So I haven't really touched on stuff like hey or yo, but I think it's safe for us to go with the realm of like yo or you. So ja bam. So you gave Chifo, I believe it is. Yes. Of course. Chifo. Chachifo. Do I have a word for fish? I probably do. I feel like I should. No? Nice. Oh, do we want to do this by compounding, or do we just want to create a whole word? A whole root, rather. And I feel confident enough to create a root for this, so I think I'm just gonna create a new root, or I could do water serpent. Leamaiya. I like that. Leamaiya. So Leamai. Ya. And then just take Iano. Leamaiano. Leamaiano. Bam. Ooh. There we go. And then bad. Okoli. So, translates to you mo PFV give fish ack bad. You gave me some bad fish. What do you mean? I know I had a word like what thing. Gaesaka? So, how can we say, what do you mean? Stuff like, cause the question here isn't like, the question here isn't like, hey, what does what you're saying mean? Like, what does anti-disestablishmentarianism mean? It's more like, what are you saying, or what does this have to do with whatever? So what thing are you saying? I like that idea. What thing are you saying? So, it's Gaesaka or Gaesaka? Gaesaka. What thing? K or K. Chamo. Oops. Chamo. So what thing are you saying? What do you mean? Some of the fish you gave me yesterday were rotten. I had actually worked this into the tense, or not the tense system, the case system. Some of the fish you gave me yesterday were rotten. So, it wouldn't be the nominative form of fish. It would be the ablative form of fish. Some from the fish. Or part of the fish. So is that ablative? I'm pretty sure. Or I want to do ablative plural. Yes. So leamayakilo. 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 Some of the fish you gave me yesterday were rotten. Yeah, so I would still want to do the remote perfective. So full you gave me, and yesterday is kind of like implied in that. Full. So we're rotten. Do I have a word for rotten? I have a word for bad or impure, but I'm not sure I want to use that word again. I think there's like a bit more punch to rotten. Deading? Something is deading. Huh. I like that idea. That's funny. Which I can do. I can do that. Do I not? I have a word for strike. Haha! To hit, to fight. Oh. Do we have to make another route? I think I have to make another route. Which isn't a problem. Smell or taste bad. Huh. I feel like this is just gonna become a common thing. You're gonna have to forgive me, Satan. But I do like the idea of smell or taste bad. Which I think those are just... Ooh. Talu. Is that katalu or talu? I can't do alveolar co-articulations. So let's... You know what? To taste. So that would be... Kama. Ooh, combination. Bad taste after death. Comma. Comma. Ma. And then comma. Yeah. So taste. So to taste like death. We could do that sort of thing. Think. What can I make as a root for kill? I could do kate. I like that. Katema. So, and then fa katema. What was my passive? Oh, it's oi. Fa was the causative, correct. Oi katema. Sweet like sickness. That's one of your languages has two words for sweet. Sweet like sugar or fruits, or sweet like sickness. What does that mean? To be sweet like sickness? To be rotten. Ooh. To die. To be rotten is katema. Oi katema. So kama oi tema. Some colds make things taste sweet. I have never had a cold that has made something taste sweet. That is not something that has ever happened to me. So, kama oi kate. Kama oi kate. Okay, so the question is, what tense would that be in? If it's like they are, would it be, well, I have it written down here, were rotten. Like past tense progressive, assuming that they still are. So, would it be, like, naturally, would it be past tense progressive? Or would it be instantaneous? No, I think I would be fine with translating that as remote past tense progressive. Or, yeah, remote past tense imperfective. So, we're looking at remote imperfective, ara. Yep. So, ara kama oi kate. Ara kama oi kate. Ara kama oi kate. Oh, I would need a kapa. So some of the fish given. So I would what was it? Kappa. Then I wouldn't want that marking there. So some of the fish given were rotten, or did taste like death. So fish give that is whoa. Remote PFV give copula remote IMPFV taste taste passive die. So to do a literal translation, some from the fish that were given tasted like death. Okay, so what can I do to make it right? So kaisaka kaisaka what thing can I do? What can I do? How do I have an abilitative, I believe. Add positions, auxiliary. Of course I don't. I'm aware that abilitatives and permissives and stuff like that. Oh, I do! Never mind. So, Dama or Dama, Kaisakatama, auxiliaries come before to do. Ora, what can I do? Or what can be done? What can... So what am I able? Kaisaka... What thing is able for me? What thing is able for me to do? What thing is able for me to do for you? Does that make sense? I feel like that makes sense. So Dama, Kaisaka Tama. What thing to do for me? What thing to do for me? I like that. So Urama. And then it's Asha Mo? Or did I reduce that? Yeah, ashamo. Hold up. So what thing a bill do infinitive, one accusative, and then io I forget. I feel like it's not fa. It isn't fa. The translation for good. It is just a. Oh my gosh. I forgot how many words in Kea were just single vowels. Ioe. For good. For good to make. Okay, ora. Or orama. Ah. Is that ora? No, it's orama. Ora. Ah, alright. So what thing can I, what thing to do can I to make it right? To make good? Benefactive, good, do, inf. Then, I want some of my grains back. Oh, so I want some of my grains back. Asha. Do I have a word for want? I feel like I have a word for want. Okay. Teme. Or te. So, asha te. Asha te. Do I have a word for grains? Do I have a word for wheat? Granola? Alright. So. Root or derived? I could have it derived from the same word that ground comes from, or dirt. I could also do something with, like, water, like the water kneader or something, but I feel like that's a little too complex. Do I not? I know I have a word for food. Oh my gosh! I forgot that's how I measure distance in footballs. Moinele. Ah, okay, so food. Rai. Ra. Ra. Rai. Ramo. Raimo. Fruit or a nominal on to stand. The problem is I believe I lack a word for fruit, but I do have a word for plant. Fora. So I can just do a derivation like plant food or food plant. Standee. I like that. I like that, but I think I'm gonna go with the edible plant sort of deal. I like that. I have a word for congregation, but not fruit or veggie. So, adjectives come before. So, oh my gosh. Oh, and Sutton, the word, like, that sort of derivation you're describing, like, standee, I already have that, and that, I believe that means, like, pillar. So, fora. Which I could do, like, hold up, let me make sure I know what I'm talking about and I'm not lying. Oh, no! It's an agent noun. A builder. That's right. Nominalization is done for agent nouns in durative verbs. Yeah. I have a word for farmer, but not for grain. Oh. Okay. So, hold up. Rafora. So, Rafoto. You make a point, Sutton. Ashate Rafoto. Ashi. Ashate Rafoto. Foto ashi. Ashate Rafoto ashi. Don't eat pillars, keep your teeth. Ugh. But they're so crunchy. They're so tactile. Why can't I eat them? Ugh. Okay. Ashate Rafoto ashi. Okay. The question is, do we want to make this an imperative? No, we don't want to make it an imperative because the verb is want. I want. If I was translating the other language, I would make it an imperative, like give me my grain back. But no, this is just a desire. I want this back. Ashi. Okay, so how can I? Is there a way? Full of vitamins. Full of vitamins. You know, like full of vitamins, like chalk and quartz and marble. Ugh. Do I want to signify like a movement back to me? So like, give me some of my grains back from you. Like so Jailo? Like I want my grains back from you. I want my grains from you. I like that. That makes a lot of sense to me. So, want fruit, veggie, genitive, to ablative. Let's just make sure that that is the actual form. Chalo. I am a liar. Okay, so I want some of my grains back. I want my grains back from you. Okay, so sorry. We run into the first discourse marker. Sorry, my family and I already ate it. The thing with discourse particles is they usually come from... Well, no, not usually. They have to come from semantic... some sort of semantic thing. So... I could say this will disappoint you. This will because, like, think about what discourse markers are. They are, at least, especially these sort of things, like sorry. Like, sorry just means you're about to be upset at what I'm gonna say. So I could just flat out say, you're not gonna like this. My family and I already ate it. And I can imagine that would, like, just break down into just one small word, because reduction. So I could do that. Sutton, do you have any words? Do you have any words from your Ojibwe discourse? Do you have anything for your Ojibwe discourse markers? For you're about to be upset? Or is that something missing? So, cha. Cha-o. And how did I do futures? Okay. So I just used the copula. Chaoe. Or oma. Or o. Chao. Chao. Whoops. Jelo, I believe, is the word. Angry. Oh. No, I have to look on this thing. Where's fire? Where's fire? It's like J or something. Oh, right there. J. J-lo. You'll be from fire. J-lo. Ciao, J-lo. Ciao, J-lo. And then how can we just trunk? A lot of them look to be like idiophones. Ooh, that's another thing I have to worry about. Well, not worry, but I have to face at some point. Yeah. In onomatopoeia, I did some, like, super basic research on, like, what, on, like, Japanese, idiophones, since I'm learning Japanese. And I think it's very interesting. The Pikachu, you know, the Pokemon, Pikachu, is actually, it's named after an idiophone, which is, of course, Pika Pika, which means to shimmer or to shine, or something that shimmers and shines. So, Yeah, I just thought that was interesting. I liked that. Um, but how can we reduce this? Do I want to reduce this, since this is just like an early form of the language? Or do I want to reverse... I could do just ciao cielo. Or I could do ciao cielo? Ciao cielo? Sutton. Tit. To be annoyed at an action someone has done even though it doesn't directly affect you. Oh, that's... Oh my gosh, that... Not to go off topic, but that reminds me of like that old... Stop me if I'm alienating the younger people of my audience, but an old Vine back with the it's like, really you gonna do that? What'd she do? She gonna breathe. It's like but yeah, how much do we want to break this down? We could do cholo, or do a little bit of metathesis, choleo. Or I could chacholo. Chacholo. Yes, back when we were all like infants when Vine was out. Oh my gosh. I really like chacholo for the sorry or you're about to be upset discourse marker. Oh, okay. I think we're gonna do chacholo. Ooh, I get to add a new column. Or I could just... Oh my gosh. So... something to the effect of, sorry. You know what? We're just gonna say that it didn't come from any specific proto-word. Giacciolo is now the new romanization. Oh my gosh. Cholo. Or chacholo. 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 So, you're about to be upset with what I'm about to say. My family and I already ate it. Okay, so here's a little bit of world building around Kea. They don't have like a family structure like we think of it. They don't have a very normal family structure. So their family structure sort of follows the governmental structure. How do I explain this? I made like a Reddit post or Reddit comment about it a while back. But the way it works is that the orama or the rapama are kind of I kind of assumed that that monogamy. This is odd, and I kind of assumed that the monogamy was like it was just something in the back of my head that was correct, or not correct, but the thing that they would do. Which, with this early modern government system, polygamy could take hold. And you could have multiple orama, but it has a very strong emphasis on roles, but not necessarily gender roles. So you could have orama be the father, or you could have the rapama be the mother, or a mother, or the other way around, the leader and the enforcer. And then children. So, because it has this governmental structure, or the hashtag not Sautin's world building for sure. Government mandated monogamy. Oof. Jeez. Well, no, so this isn't mandated by the government. It mimics the government. I didn't want to go into like the full history of the Kea or the Keate, but I kind of have to explain this. So the Keate were they came from these emotionless, faceless, voiceless beings that were brought to life by Doa, which were the gods. And the early government, or the early culture, mind you, this was all under the Toa. So you would have a leader, an advisor, and the enforcers. And this just means that it's about on the same level, like the fact that they're offset a little bit. They're pretty much on the same level, but this one has more power, and this one is underneath both of them. And then there was the Toa above them. So that kind of, once the gods kind of just noped out of there, the leaders took on the title of gods. Because, semantic drift and power. And this signifies that they are both on the same level, and they are both above this. Both above the enforcers. So, gods ran the whole show with a divine right sort of appointed leader, and then a divine right appointed advisor, and then they would choose their enforcers. So that whole thing made its way into the family structure, where it might look like in a monogamous relationship, it would look something like this. Bam. 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 Orama. Rapama. Or Rapama. And then Kea fire. Child. But the big thing is that this orama does not mean father. It doesn't mean that. It does not mean male parental unit. It means leader. Whichever one of the parents is more forward and makes the choices. And then Rapama, enforcer, whoever enforces the choices. The word for grandpa turned into president. That's nice. I like that. So Kea fire is just always child. Kea fire will always mean child, which I love. That is my favorite. The fact that it is so malleable like that. Sorry, just gotta make this pretty for me later. But yeah, there is no specific word for father or mother. It's just leader, enforcer, and then child. Which can get very weird when there are just two people bashing their heads together. When the two parents are bashing their heads together. It's like, no, I have the say in what happens in this family. Well, I can just not enforce it. But long story short, I need a word for family. Like, it is entirely possible that I already have a word. I do not. So I need a word like subordinate, or we could just have child mean anything underneath something. Like, following that whole god idea of the gods created people. Or the gods created the Keate. We could just say that all subordinate units are children. I like that. I think I'm gonna work with that. So Kea fire. Is it Kea fire? Kea fate. Kea fate. Te. Chacholo. Kea fate. Ashi ate it. So the word to eat. Eat. Do I not have a word for to eat? Oh my gosh. I think I had like the idea of to eat to come from the word for take. Like pull an ancient Greek and say take from, or was that only ancient Greek? I feel like that was also Old English. There was a sort of take and eat, whatever the word is. They both would mean to eat. So ena, or I would want the remote imperfective or the remote perfective. Hyena or hyena. Ina somo. Make sure Somo. So, sorry. Child. Accusative plural. Take this pillar. Starts eating. Oh my gosh. That's fantastic. Remote. Remote. Perfective. Eat. Take this pillar. Oh. Or, 3. Oh my gosh. I just realized I forgot to add all of the articles. Okay, I'll get back to that. I'll actually let me do that quick. Bo. What thing? I feel like that's animate in this situation. And we could just use the lack of a definite article there to mean it's dead. Sawton, I don't know if you were around when I explained this, but pretty much inanimate, semantically inanimate nouns don't take a definite article or any articles, but they do take demonstratives, which I might go back and change. Geoffate, bo, sumo. Yeah, grains are inanimate. In one day? Sorry, my family and I already ate it. In one day? So, I have a word for day, I'm pretty sure. Yes, okay. Definites behave? So, it's kind of like in Spanish where, or in those Romance languages where the definite article is, where an article is necessary. But it just, depending on the situation, you might use the definite article or the indefinite article. So, like, the rat took some grain, took a pillar. The rat took a pillar, or a rat took a pillar. But it must always have one of those. It's not like, it's not just like in English how we can take away the article, like rats took the pillar. Yeah, so simple enough. So in one day, I feel like that would be an ablative meaning. So Ishai, from a day one. Okay, so what was the word for one? Cool. ko ishai. One day gen. Correct, Sutton. Yeah, yeah, the inanimate just stopped happening with the definite article, and the definite became ungrammatical. I have a large family. And I feel like this wouldn't be I have a large family. It means I have many subordinates. So Asha to have. Do I have a word for many? Hey, Galactic Sand. Don't worry. We haven't gotten to working on Ofsumir yet. I'm planning to do that at 4:30. Yes, son, that is correct. Animacy marking. That's a plan I had for some of the daughter languages of Kea to do animacy. Mind you, this was back before I read that thing about Kabardian, about how the ergative and absolutive markers came to be associated with the definite articles. But yeah, around 4:30, I want to start working on Ofsumir, and I have an interesting thing for it, but you'll just have to wait and see. Okay. Do I want a root for many, or do I want to take a word like... Oh my gosh, Galactic Sand. This is not anything special. I'm embarrassed to show this spreadsheet because it's just something. But do we want a derivation of like all and similar to, so like do mapate, or do we want just a root, just a new root for many? Because here muni or mana means some. It's better than Collins. Don't. I don't want to become an enemy. I don't want to become an enemy to Colin. But some just means less than 6. So we could do many with the assumption that it is more than 6. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I think I'll just do I think I'll have a new route. Anybody have any ideas? Given these phonotactics? Yes, I came up with these colors because I usually just follow the just a monochromatic scheme, but I already had a document that was purple, so I had to mix. I already had a document that was purple, and I already had a document that was yellow, so I had to mix it up. So, anybody have any ideas for a word for many? I am taking suggestions because I can't come up with a root. Ooh. I'm all rooted out. Cannot start a word. Just thought I'd put that there. Hechi or Hechi. I like that. Shaka. Ooh. I don't know. I like Hachi or Hachi. So I think we're gonna go with that. And then Chi Hachi. Hachi. I believe I have like I already have a bunch of words that are SH vowel, Q vowel. So, Asha Hachi. Asha Hachi. Oh, have. To own. To have. Okay. O. Asha o. Hichi. Kea. Kea. No, not leaf. Kea. Kea fa. Te. Kea fa te. So 1. Have. Many. I have many. Child. Back. Okay. We run into another discourse marker. Fine. Sort of a reluctant agreement. Again, we could just do what we did before with, like, sorry. Like a whole, you're about to be upset with what I'm gonna say. We could just do a flat out, you're going to be upset with what I'm about to say. Or we could do some sort of, semantic reach. So for fine, like this word fine, that just means I don't like this. I don't like what I'm about to say. So you don't like what I'm about to say versus I don't like what I'm about to say. Or no, this isn't I don't like what I'm about to say. That's this one. This one is I don't like what I'm about to say. And then this one is I give in. Or I give up. So I give up. The next time I give in. Yeah, I don't like that, but I agree. It's that sort of deal, yeah. Or understand. Yeah, this one is just I don't like what I'm about to say. So we could have it transparently related to chacholo. Or chacholo. Because pitch accent. But I'll worry about this one when I get to it. If we get to it today. But, so I give in or I give up. I don't like it, but I agree. What's a way we could say that? What's a way we can say that without just saying fine? Ooh. Have it do something with volition. I'd like that. But how does that work? Like a first person involuntary. Okay, so Asha Te, and then I have negation. Oh, what was negation? Te o. Asha te te o. So we break this down, or we reduce this. Asha te te o. Yes. It's like that's actually good. Galactic Sand. Essentially you have a distinction between an action done willingly versus one done unwillingly. And that could be accidental or intentional. To X. Okay. So ashatetelo. So I give in or give up, or I don't want to do this. So how would this reduce? I could retain the this post-alveolar sibilant. Ashe deo. I feel like the glottal stop would reduce in any instance. So ashe deo. Or I could do te ateteo ateteo. Or atetelo or ateteo. I like that. I like ateteo or ateteo. Screw it. Metathesis. Ateteo. Make it easier. Bam. Ateteo. Ateteo. When I get the next time I get fish from you, I need half for free. So te here's a ateteo. Ooh, I need to do that as well. Okay, ateteo. Next time I do something. Next time I do something. So next time it has an implication of like the second time or the subsequent time. Or I could just do I could have it come from the same root as tomorrow. Or what? Where does this come from? Uae or ae. Oh. Oh. Soon. So tomorrow could just mean next time as well? Like the soon day? The day that is soon. That's pretty cool. The day that's soon. Tomorrow. So, what did it come out to? Ishae. Shae. Tomorrow, I get fish from you. So, tomorrow, or the next time. Tomorrow I get fish from you. Asha. To get. Or, okay, so. To give. So, full. And then. Or I guess, the auxiliary. Does the auxiliary take marking? Usually? It's the auxiliary that usually takes marking. Yeah, okay. So, I don't know why I needed to know that. Because where's my passive? Where's my passive? There we go. Oi. Oi. So, oima for. Oi fama. Oi fama. The next time or tomorrow I get fish from you. Jalo. And what that looks like is tomorrow, 1 copula, passive, give. So the next time I'm given fish. Leama iya mo. Fish ab or ak. Chalo. Bam. Chalo. I need some for free. Asha tete. Asha tete. Asha tete. Some. So some I could either do some from muni or mana. I need some. So mana. I like that. Mana. Lea maya. Alo. Le maya alo. Lea maya alo. There we go. For good? Could we do like a pro bono thing? For good. I need it for good. I think we could do that. Yeah. I think we'll do that. Io. So 1 need some some fish, ablative, benefactive, good. And then really. Oh, that's a discourse marker too. I didn't even think about that. That's just a discourse marker. This could mean I don't like what you're saying. So is this true? I could just do a shortening of is this true? So, somo oe. Somo oe, or somo oe, because santi. Somo oe. Somo oe. I feel like, again, it would slip over that. Somoe. Somoe? Yeah, I like that. Really? Somoe? Alright. Okay. I think before we move any further... I think before we move any further in this, I'm gonna head on to working on Ofsumir. Just to get some things laid out. And, for those of you who love to mess with verbs, I think you're going to enjoy this one. But, let's review what we've done for Kea. What we've shown that getting someone's attention is literally just saying you. Chachifo leamaya no okoli. So, you gave me some bad fish. And then we figured out the word for rotten. It's fun. That was an experiment to be tasting like death. Yeah, that's pretty much it. On top of the discourse markers we came up with. Yeah, I think we're at a good spot. Alright. So, to hop into Ofsumir. There's something that I've been thinking about, and since I'm studying Japanese, they put a lot of emphasis on transitive verbs versus intransitive verbs. Which, sure, that's cool. What if we didn't care? What if we did something with ambitransitive verbs, which are pretty much neither, or could be either. So they have no set transitivity. So like in the English word read, I read often versus I read a book. This one is intransitive, and this one is transitive. And obviously, I read a book for you, ditransitive. So I frighten you on the dock. Frighten. Yes, I eat food. Bivocational, meaning they can easily perform one of the two different jobs. Bivocational. I like that. That is just straight up two jobs. I like that. But trivocational. But yeah. So they are very clearly anything. They're bivocational or trivocational. Now, if we work on, so let's go into the worksheet. Let's make up a template. So A means first person. Front. Yes, those different avalent, 0 nouns, monovalent, 1 noun, bivalent, 2 nouns, trivalent, 3 nouns. Yes, that's correct. Let's just say tunhult is to die. And then ha means you. So a tun, and I'm not sure if we want to settle, and I'm not sure if we ever settled on agent marking or patient marking. But I feel like this would be agent marked. Tunit, or I guess subject marked. Tunit A. No, it's not. Tunit A versus Tunit A ha. Both of those break down into I die and I die you, which just means I die or I kill you. So, given that the reason that I'm doing this is because, one, I already have a lot on my plate with trying to figure out infixes for that sort of deal. Like, I know that I want that apophony, but I also know that I want an L infix. Or if that's... No, I remember what it is now. So, I already have a lot on my plate on just trying to figure out how I want infixes. So adding passives or causatives would just be a lot. Anti-passives and anti-causatives, or anti-passives just in general, could be, I could do something with that, but I don't know. The big thing is I want to reduce as much concatenative morphology on these verbs as possible. So we know that I want some sort of L. We could do just a simple past, non-past distinction for tenses, and that is just kind of there for that non-past. So, non-past, past. And then we can mess with aspects in a bit. Or we can mess with aspects whenever. But for right now, let's just perfective, imperfective, bam. And we don't need to worry about passivization or causativization because the inclusion of a object just makes it understood as a transitive verb. And that also leads to something very interesting. Verbal nouns. What do we do with those? Because, like, I can do mumun, to gaze at X, or not to gaze at X. Oh, what's a noun? Water. So mumun, there's something there. There's not like that X there. It is moon. We eat verbal nouns. Yes. I just consume them all. We consume them like we consume pillars. So how do we do those in regards to transitivity and ambitransitivity? How do we do derivation? Because there's apophony. Because there's apophony for marking, for agent marking. I guess I'll just say agent marking or subject marking. We just make it subject marking. That's fine. But mumun has a second vowel. So mumun a. We take verbal now. Oh my gosh. So I water, which might mean I wash. I wash myself. I bathe. Gargling water. Mumun a ha. Mumun a ha means I water you, which might mean I wash or cover with water. I cover you with water. And then because there's just this big wave of analogy. That's how we got the templates. That's how we got the verb templates. I'm not sure yet, Sutton. I'm not sure if it has a copula yet. I don't know. I don't know how necessary it would be, and I'm not sure how agreement would work with it. I'm not sure if I would want that to do some irregular thing, which it most likely would. I'm not sure if I want to introduce that irregularity even with that big wave of analogy that brought us to yeah. So, and that big wave of analogy is why I would think mumun, the word for water, would turn into mumul, to wash. So mumuneha or mumune would not be grammatical. But maybe mumin a or mumin a ha. I wash. I wash you. Oh, that's another ambitransitive verb. A wash. To go wash. Well, no, that isn't an ambitransitive verb. That is a ditransitive or a transitive verb. I wash just kind of feels incomplete. Ah, not mumin. Muman. Ah, what am I doing? To not eha. Mumune. Mumaneha. Mumine. Mumaneha. So, I think that makes sense to do, to just kind of have that. Well, then what do we do with the nouns? What do we do with the nouns? That is a pickle, isn't it? Because it would be obviously related. And mumun, that you, is always, or either u or o, are always unmarked. Or always mean it's unmarked. So like, meet, mat, mut, met, mat, mot. Third person is quote unquote zero marked. So mumun, so maybe we can say that every single verb, their last vowel is just always either u or o, or every single vowel that is commonly, or every single noun that is commonly used as a verbal noun ends up analogizing. Since we're on that trail of like every line being blurred and, you know, I don't know, I like that. That seems like a cool thing. And then Sultan, we could have a copula. We could have a copula that kind of lost its meaning as a noun. We could have a copula come from a noun. We could have the copula come from a noun. Theoretically. I'm not sure how that would happen. Ooh. That's very fun though. Huh. Okay, so let's nouns. I'll have loads of copulas or loads of nouns if the copula comes from a noun. Ooh. Oh my gosh. They might behave like classifiers. I'm not sure if I like that. 'Cause not to mention of the object would of the copula would be in the genitive. Huh. It would be in the genitive. Okay. Huh. The object of the copula would be in the genitive. What brought you to that conclusion? That's interesting. Well, what brought you to the conclusion that the genitive, that the direct object would be a genitive? Because that's cool. So noun verb line is blurred, and in the dictionary I would have to have some sort of method to be like, hey, this is one of the nouns that can function like a verb, and this is one of the nouns that can't. Dog, animal, verbal, cat. Oh my gosh. That is beautiful. Oh, that is beautiful. Okay. I wanted to touch on this in another stream, but I was thinking of, like, inducing clefting by means of, like, a very rich case system, which, when destroyed, would kind of just, when destroyed, it would lead the way for this. But some cases could remain. Some non-core cases could remain, even though genitive is technically a core case. I think. That's something to look up, or to look into. But yeah. I was looking at that sort of thing and thinking about, because what we're looking for is this sort of deal. We're looking for all sorts of things to be flip-flopped. Yeah, all sorts of things to be flip-flopped by means or for topicalization or emphasis, since I know there are people that don't like that word. But we could do... I like that idea. Okay, maybe it's time to start coining terms. So, first person, a proto. What am I doing? Or Control X, Control V. Then Ofsumir. Second person and mind you, I'm just throwing this together. This I will work on this more during the week. Third person pronoun. Yeah, I'll put it together like how I have it for another one of my languages. Nye. Because I can do that with the phonotactics. Nye. So a, ha, nye. Well, no, there's no representation of these front rounded vowels. So I'm gonna throw nye. So now we can throw in a case system. Morphology. Cases. And I don't want grammatical number in this conlang. Again, because that would just make the verb template so much harder to create. So cases, nominative, accusative. Yes, going to need the genitive. Why a second genitive? My thoughts for that is alienable versus inalienable, if that's what you're looking at. But why two genitives? Why would that be a thing that's necessary? No, verbs don't have to agree with number. Oh. You just made my day. You just made my day. Possessive genitive versus locative genitive. What? So is that a sort of like an attributive versus like his X versus with an X? Is that what you're looking at? Sutton, stop it. Stop it. You're making me happy. Look at the different functions of the genitive. So, his X. Is there something I can look up for this? In the last 4 minutes that we have? I'm very intrigued. Hold up. Let me just diff. Okay. So functions. Possession, composition. Ah! Participation. Origin. Reference. Description. Compounds. And apposition. Possessive pronouns are distinct pronouns. Agree in case with nouns they modify. Suffix aufnehmen. Inclusio. Yes. Huh. So are you... When you say that locative genitive, are you thinking like origin? Let's split those functions into different genitive cases. So I could do possession, participation, possession, participation, and composition as so possession, composition, participation, description as genitive 1. Whoops. Two, and everything else is genitive 2. So distribution, or description. Description, participation, patient, and then the rest is origin, origin, reference, and compound, or origins and reference. Then on top of that, sort of thing, we can distinguish two ablatives. Or we can distinguish an ablative from the origin. Possibly. I don't know. Well, that's 5 o'clock, guys. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you. Thank y'all who are live for making it and staying for as long as you could. I am gonna head out. Have a good day.